At this time, Lin Ke arrived at a jewelry store. He quickly walked inside. The staff saw him and immediately approached to inquire, "Sir, are you looking to buy a gift for your girlfriend? Our store has 2 new products recently. Would you like to take a look?" Lin Ke immediately agreed. The employee quickly took out a jade bracelet. "Sir, this bracelet is a special item for our store's Christmas season. There are only 20 pieces in Zonghai and 8 have already been sold. You can take a look." Lin Ke came closer to examine it, pondering slightly. 18 million is a bit expensive, but it's quite beautiful. Expensive is expensive. The employee was a bit surprised and said, "I remember." Lin Ke interjected, "Wrap it all up for me." As soon as he finished speaking, everyone in the store was startled. Lin Ke happily said, "I'll take this." People around him began to whisper, all shocked by the situation unfolding before their eyes. Seeing that, Lin Ke turned and asked with confusion, "Why are they looking at me like that? Am I not eligible to buy? Or do I need to make a reservation?" Hearing him, the female employee beside him blushed and stammered in response, "No, that's not it, sir. You misunderstood. It's not 18 million, but 1,800,000. The jade bracelet was neatly placed on a beautiful display shelf. Lin Ke heard what the female staff member just said and leaned over to look closely at the bracelet, then said, "So it's $1,800,000. Then I'll take it." The staff member was taken aback, smiled brightly, and then asked, "Will you be paying by card or cash, sir?" Hearing her, he replied, "Not so fast. I want to buy something else too. Is there anything else available?" As soon as he finished speaking, the staff member looked puzzled as if she didn't understand what he just said, so she asked, "Is there still more to buy, sir?" She then said, "Sir, for Christmas, usually 1 gift is enough." Hearing that, he replied in a somewhat awkward tone, "That's true, but it's not just for one person. After all, whatever you do, it should be shared." The staff member was flustered by his words, and she stammered shyly, saying, "Shared?" Everyone around showed a bewildered expression as if they couldn't believe what they had just heard. They all gaped in amazement. The female staff member pointed to the product and said, "Stowe, please come this way. This is a necklace from our newly launched decoration collection, and it is the last one from this generation. The price is 1,980,000. The necklace with the exquisitely carved emerald appeared with an extraordinarily regal and luxurious beauty. Then Lin Ke pulled out a gold card from his coat pocket and stated, "All right, then I'll take these 2 items. Wrap them up for me and choose 2 more items for me as well." Seeing the card he was holding, the staff member's expression was filled with astonishment. She thought to herself, "Oh shit, diamond membership card." A man nearby approached and spoke, "Hey bro, there are 4 girls with soulmate's beauty at the same time. That's really impressive." Hearing this, he replied, "That's just normal, mainly because of my strong attraction." The man felt embarrassed and his face showed a hint of shyness as he responded, "So, can I ask you something? Didn't people say women at 30 are like wolves, and at 40 like tigers? But why is my tigress so obedient?" As he spoke, he scratched his head with a helpless look. Suddenly, a hand was placed on the man's shoulder. Lin Ke approached and said, "There's no such thing as a peaceful life. It's just that someone is helping you shoulder the burden." Hearing this, the man exclaimed in panic, "What? What does that mean?" Then Lin Ke immediately left. The scene shifted to a large apartment building and the sky was beginning to darken. Lin Ke walked up to knock on the door. A voice from inside called out, "Who is it?" Hearing this, he replied, "Collecting the water bill." The sound of the door opening came from inside. Wang Ying appeared wearing a sexy nightgown. She spoke, "Why are you here? Aren't you with Boss Lady Jai?" Hearing her question, he replied, "She's busy. I came to visit you." After saying that, the 2 of them stepped inside. Wang Ying closed the door with a face full of excitement. Seeing this, Lin Ke helplessly spoke up, "On the contrary, it's you. I said it was to collect the water bill, and you dared to open the door, didn't you?" Hearing this, she broke into a bright smile and replied, "I recognize your voice. That's why I opened the door. Besides, today I've decided to put off the fees. Whoever comes to collect can wait until tomorrow." As soon as she finished speaking, Wang Ying's face displayed a flirtatious expression and her eyes shyly glanced at the other person. Hearing that, Lin Ke suddenly turned to ask, "Are you sure?" Wang Ying immediately answered, "Absolutely." Suddenly she got angry, hit Lin Ke hard, and shouted angrily, "Are you really going to check?" He quickly covered himself with his hands and fearfully replied, "Weren't you the one who said that?" At that moment, Wang Ying's gaze became calm. She raised her hand to cover her mouth and softly said, "Right, wait for me for a moment, just a bit." After saying that, she turned and left, leaving Lin Ke in a state of confusion. A little later, she returned, her footsteps echoing hurriedly. She was holding a gift, her face cheerful as she said, "I prepared a Christmas gift for you. Do you like it?" saying that she handed the gift towards Lin Ke. I'll tell you in advance, it's not expensive, so if you don't like it, just say so. Hearing her say that, he didn't respond, but just grabbed a ribbon and pulled it with a look of surprise. Lin Ke shyly blushed and spoke up. How can that be? Just right. I also need a belt. I have a gift for you too. Saying that, he handed the gift box to Wang Ying. She accepted it, a bit surprised. Whoa, this must have cost quite a bit, right? Hearing this, Lin Ke quickly replied, don't ask about the price, just see if it looks good on you. Immediately, Wang Ying put the bracelet on her wrist, her face showing a bit of joy as she exclaimed, actually, I guess you would come to give me a gift, but I didn't expect you to give me a jade bracelet. What did you think I would think you would give me? As she spoke, the strap wrapped around her hand. Seeing this, Wang Ying felt confused and asked, isn't this the kind of thing half hidden, half revealed? Don't men like to give mistresses things like this? What are you doing? Then Lin Ke's hands grasped Wang Ying's wrist and he immediately lifted his hand up high. This surprise left her no time to react, and she instantly leaned into the arms of the man in front of her. Lin Ke's arm grabbed one side of her blouse and pulled it. Wang Ying's body was then placed to sit on the table. As he pressed himself against her, he asked, where are you trying to run to? Wang Ying could only exclaim, ah, her face red and shy as she looked directly into the eyes of the man in front of her. Then she said, I'm not running, why are you tying me up? Right after that, their lips touched. A kiss from Lin Ke to Wang Ying. She was surprised by the kiss, her eyes wide with astonishment. After they pulled apart, the warm breath made the atmosphere become intense. Lin Ke began to lift his hands to embrace the body of the girl in front of him, holding her gently. Wang Ying nestled comfortably in Lin Ke's chest. Seeing this, he smiled softly and looked at her. The two of them stepped closer to the bed, little by little. At this moment, Lin Ke started to take off his shirt, saying as he did so, tying up makes it more interesting. Then the two of them fell into each other's arms and spent a passionate night together. Their clothes were scattered messily across the floor. The scene shifted to the next day at the medical center. The sky was clear without a cloud, and warm light streamed through the windows in the hospital room, creating a picturesque scene. The nurses spoke in unison. Director Lai, you've returned. Everyone's faces were bright with smiles. Lin Ke replied, I had some free time, so I came to visit everyone. He was also holding a gift bag in his hand. A female nurse covered her mouth with her hand and whispered, haha, you're here to visit Director Lai, right? She's in the bedroom. Hearing the nurse say that, Lin Ke was a bit startled. He quickly responded, I'm just here quietly, please don't tell her. Saying that, he waved goodbye to everyone. In the break room, Lai Xu-han opened the door to step outside. The clinking sound continued to ring out. Suddenly, a hand appeared right in front of her, startling her. The hand covered Xu-han's eyes, making her retreat in fear, her body hitting the door. Seeing this, Lin Ke chuckled softly. After a long pause, she immediately spoke up, Lin Ke, how did you know it was me? He replied, and when she saw the man in front of her, Lai Xu-han gasped in surprise. She immediately threw herself into his arms, her face beaming as she said, I could smell it on your hand. It's not interesting at all. I thought you might surprise me. As he spoke, he sighed, looking somewhat frustrated. Seeing this, Lai Xu-han asked, aren't you happy? Then let's try again. Upon hearing her, Lin Ke pinched her cheek and said, what's there to be unhappy about? Christmas is coming soon, and I have a gift for you to see if you like it. His hands then brought the gift towards Xu-han. She saw what was happening in front of her and, surprised and shy, spoke up. You don't need to buy me anything. Just visiting me is enough. Suddenly, one of Lin Ke's arms wrapped around Xu-han's waist. She nestled comfortably against his chest. Lin Ke said, that's not how it works. If others have gifts, you should have one too. The gift box was opened and he grabbed the jade necklace inside and held it out. Help me put it on. After saying this, he bent down and put the necklace around Xu-han's neck. His warm voice made her blush and suddenly a tear fell and touched Lin Ke's hand. Lai Xu-han turned her head, her eyes glistening with tears. Seeing this, he said, all right, stop crying. Then Xu-han turned and hugged Lin Ke, crying uncontrollably. She said, aside from my mother, no one has ever been this good to me. Hearing this, Lin Ke lowered his head, lifted her chin with his hand, and gently said, this child is still crying when she's grown up. Lai Xu-han wiped her tears and replied, wait a moment, I also bought you a gift. She walked over to the cabinet beside her and took out a bag identical to Wang Ying's. Seeing the bag, Lin Ke was scared and thought to himself, this bag, could it be? From the bag, she pulled out a belt. Seeing this, Lai Xu-han said, I don't know how to pick things. I spent days shopping and only got this. Upon hearing this, Lin Ke stuttered. Just when I was short of a belt, this is perfect. Hearing those words, Lai Xu-han happily hugged Lin Ke and exclaimed, really? That's great. Lin Ke could only smile softly. Hey ha! In the quiet of the late night at Lin Ke's villa, the sound of a door opening could be heard. A pair of fair feet stepped in. A slender girl in a black dress was placing something on the table. Suddenly, Lin Ke's voice rang out from behind. If you've come, don't leave. As soon as the words were spoken, King Ren was about to step away but was startled. Lin Ke grabbed her hand and pulled her onto the bed. King Ren was left speechless, unable to react to Lin Ke's unexpected action. He pulled the blanket over both their heads. She anxiously asked, "Why are you pulling the blanket? Aren't you supposed to be asleep?" Lin Ke replied with a smile. "Who says turning off the lights means you have to sleep?" At this point, the blanket had been pulled down to their chests, and King Ren looked flustered. Lin Ke continued, "On the contrary, why did you sneak into my room?" She hurriedly replied, "I didn't want to come. Santa Claus sent me to deliver a gift to you." As she spoke, she raised her finger to her lips, signaling for silence. He winked, pulling her dress up, pretending to be amused. "Why is Santa Claus dressed like this?" King Ren stopped him. "Don't make a fuss." She turned on the light and then went to get the gift box she had placed on the bed. Lin Ke looked at the box with interest, resting his chin on his hand and said, "Is the gift that big?" She opened the box, and at that moment she smiled. It was clear that her cheeks were flushed with embarrassment. "I'll show you. This is a childhood photo of me. No one else has seen it. It's a unique gift." She opened the lid of the box. Her eyes widened, her face showed joy, but her cheeks remained rosy from a bit of shyness. After opening the box, the photos fell out. Lin Ke touched his chin and picked up a photo, looking delighted as he said, "Looking at the person at 3 years old, you can see their personality. You were like this even as a child." King Ren blushed, closed her eyes in happiness, and replied, "Ha ha ha, I was born this way. I don't know how." She showed him each photo. "This is the first time I received the Outstanding Student Award." Suddenly, he took a tube full of star-shaped paper and asked King Ren, "There is also a tube of stars here. Who gave it to you?" She looked at the tube of stars with surprise, her voice ringing out, "This wasn't given to me by someone else. I gave it to someone else." While speaking, her finger rested on her cheek, her face wearing an awkward smile. Lin Ke asked back, his face surprised, "Is there any man who would refuse your gift?" King Ren crawled to a spot and pointed at a distant photo. "This one, it's this person." After he looked at the photo of that person, his face showed displeasure as he said, "Not even as handsome as me." She smiled brightly, her cheeks turning pink as she replied, "That's right, otherwise you wouldn't have a chance." Then the two lay down on the mattress. Lin Ke hugged King Ren close. Suddenly she asked, "Did you have any happy moments when you were young? Tell me about it." He began to tell, "I am at the Lin Tian Welfare Institute, and I had been the champion there for 3 consecutive seasons with no rivals at all. After realizing there were no opponents to be found, I decided to retreat and stay out of social affairs." She lay on one side, propping her chin up, smiling and listening. Suddenly she asked, "Lin Ke, do you want to find your parents? With your current ability, you could find them. Or do you hate them?" Lin Ke calmly replied, "It's not exactly hatred. It's just like how you feel towards an ex. There's no feeling left." King Ren looked a bit worried. "Are you sure? Can you face it calmly?" His face was very calm. With his hands behind his head lying on the mattress, he closed his eyes and continued, "Of course, back then my mother brought me to the orphanage. She cried very sadly and stuffed $1,000 into my pocket. There was some affection there. Furthermore, my limbs are intact. If not for some special reason, she probably wouldn't have brought me there." Her eyes widened as she looked at Lin Ke and burst out laughing. "Mr. Lin has grown up?" She hugged Lin Ke and said, "Let's not talk about it anymore. Let's sleep." He slyly smiled and said, "Ha ha ha, I wanted to sleep early." King Ren suddenly blushed and he pulled her in his arms. "It's so boring to sleep alone." Then he unexpectedly kissed her soft lips. King Ren and Lin Ke closed their eyes as if they were enjoying the moment. After a while, King Ren's hand clenched onto the pillow, and the two of them melted together in the sweetness of love. The lights were still on in the familiar bed, creating an ambiguous image that cannot be clearly described for children under 18. The sky gradually brightened, and gentle rays of sunshine shone down on the villa. King Ren complained while holding her toothbrush and cup. "It's all your fault. I have things to do this morning." Lin Ke, leaning against the bed, slowly explained, "Didn't I wake you up earlier? It's because you were lazy and didn't want to get up, saying you wanted to sleep a little longer." After a while of being busy, she finally finished changing and was putting on her high heels. She turned back to remind him, "My company has some matters to attend to. I want to go watch a movie this afternoon. We've been together for so long, and we've never gone to the movies together." Lin Ke had no choice but to compromise. "All right, I'll buy the tickets." Then he waved goodbye to her as the front door slammed shut. Lin Ke lay there for a while, then began to get up for personal hygiene and change his clothes. He looked at his watch and thought, all right, there are still 4 hours left and I still haven't given the gift. At the company, Lin Ke's car arrived in front of the guardhouse. He chatted with a person inside. Are you not going home for Christmas with your wife and kids? The guard replied with a smile. Boss Lin, I'm not used to celebrating foreign holidays. Are you here to see Specialist Liang? Lin Ke happily nodded. Yes. Is she in the office today? The guard opened the barrier for his car to enter, saying, she's already here, hasn't gone out all morning. Just in time for you to have lunch with her now. Lin Ke replied slowly, yes, and then drove inside. At the company canteen, he saw Liang Ru walking over. The staff all politely greeted her. Hello, expert Liang. Liang Ru raised an eyebrow and smiled. Then everyone leisurely ate. She took a tray to the ordering counter, then ordered a small portion of rice, scrambled eggs with tomatoes, sour pickled vegetables, and a bowl of soup. Suddenly, a person appeared behind Liang Ru. That person suddenly spoke up. Huh? Eating vegetables? Aren't you hungry? You should eat some meat. This startled her, then her face turned serious with anger. She turned around and replied, what's your problem? I'm not making you pay. The person took off his mask, and it was none other than Lin Ke waving hello to her. Liang Ru was momentarily taken aback. Then she immediately changed her attitude 180 degrees, her eyes brightening as she gently asked, are you delivering here? She took his hand and sweetly said, come on, let's go eat in the office. Lin Ke replied, sure. In Liang Ru's office, the two entered the room and she casually locked the door, then turned to him with a surprised tone. You really are bold to come here. Lin Ke took off his mask and he smiled. Can I come to visit you for a bit? The girl blushed shyly and spread her hands, asking him, so, where's my gift? Lin Ke laughed. You're very direct. I like that. He took a purple gift box out of his pocket. Do you like it? This one isn't cheap. Liang Ru took the gift box, and when she opened it, she found an emerald green marble bracelet inside. She was so delighted that she exclaimed, whoa, it's beautiful. Lin Ke scratched his face, smiling, as long as you like it. Suddenly, Liang Ru remembered. Wait, I also have a gift for you. She took a gift bag from the shelf and happily walked over to him. When Lin Ke saw it, he froze, awkwardly smiling while thinking, what a coincidence. Is it the same brand? Liang Ru smiled with her eyes sparkling, still happily recounting. I picked this out while shopping yesterday. It looks so good with a suit. After finishing her story, she unconsciously glanced at him and suddenly noticed that his face was somewhat pale. She worriedly asked, is something wrong with your expression? Lin Ke couldn't tell the truth, so he had to accept it reluctantly and praised her. I'm so touched. You're really like a worm in my belly. My belt is broken. I was just about to buy a new one. Seeing that he liked the gift she chose, she was very happy. As long as you like it. Lin Ke opened the gift and held the brand new belt in his hand. He felt a pang of pain for his waist, thinking, I only have one waist, why so many belts? I wonder if my waist can take it. Liang Ru's hands touched his shoulders, and then she leaned closer to him. Her seductive voice rang out, are we having a meal, or are we having me? As she spoke, she pointed at herself. Lin Ke immediately kissed Liang Ru on the lips and replied, what are you doing here? Just to eat. Then he gently pushed her down onto the sofa, and the sound of seduction echoed in Liang Ru's office. In a modern and incredibly spacious movie theater, Lin Ke was entering with his beautiful mistress, Jai King Ren. The two were hugging each other while laughing and talking. Jai King Ren started to act coy. Mr. Lin, I want popcorn. Can you buy some? Hearing this, he smiled brightly, his eyes narrowing in delight, and fulfilled her request. What's stopping me? Just a little while later, he was holding 2 large boxes of popcorn, enough for 3 lifetimes. Seeing the boxes in Lin Ke's hands, Jai King Ren couldn't help but be amazed. So much, are you afraid of burning your tongue? Moreover, there's so much fat and sugar. Lin Ke immediately leaned towards her with an enchanting gaze, making her blush shyly. Both turned and laughed together. Jai King Ren bashfully tapped his shoulder. Ha 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 ha. You're so naughty. In the cinema, there were only a few people scattered around, intently watching the film projected on the big screen. Jai King Ren's eyes were glistening with tears as she gently wiped them with her handkerchief. Perhaps those scenes had moved people to the point that they couldn't help but shed tears. Lin Ke, sitting next to her, felt helpless seeing her cry so much. All he could do was hand her tissues while asking with concern, why are you crying like this? Jai King Ren, even when crying was beautiful and touching, replied, I'm moved. I can't cry anymore. If I cry more, my makeup will get ruined and I won't be able to face others when we go out. Suddenly, in the row ahead, a man was proposing, holding a large bouquet of roses that looked quite eye-catching. he began to speak. My love. This took both of them by surprise. At this moment, Jai King Ren grasped Lin Ke's hand and said with a hint of meaning, Look, it seems like he's about to propose. We are witnessing this romantic moment. Lin Ke wasn't too surprised and replied, It's common. Today is Christmas, so there are bound to be proposals. Jai King Ren admired them a lot and agreed with Lin Ke. That's true. So romantic. Suddenly, the couple who were proposing had an incident. The girl not only rejected the proposal, but also stood up, her face filled with anger, and shouted, You're such a hypocrite. Do you think I would agree just because you have money? She turned away, leaving the confused young man not understanding why this happened. After that, the young man bowed his head to apologize to everyone in the theater. I'm so sorry for making everyone laugh at me. The people in the theater chuckled awkwardly, but they surely sympathized with him. He scratched his head and tried to smile, although he was a bit reluctant, he still said. The one who really wants to propose isn't me, so I'm okay with it. Suddenly, he handed the bouquet to Lin Ke in front of Jai King Ren's surprised gaze. Give it to this guy. Lin Ke took the bouquet, his cheeks flushed. He sincerely presented his gift to Jai King Ren. My love, Merry Christmas. Jai King Ren was astonished, covering her mouth with her hand. It's not you. Lin Ke smiled awkwardly. What are you thinking? It's just a necklace. I know you're not ready yet. Suddenly, Jai King Ren kissed him on the cheek. Moved, she said, Thank you for the gift. I really like it. It's not the roses or the necklace that I like, but the thoughtful preparation you made that surprised me. After saying that, she unconsciously hugged him and cried. Lin Ke comforted her. You're all grown up yet still so emotional. She wiped her tears and said, All right, I forgot one thing. She reached into her pocket, pulled out an orange box, and handed it to Lin Ke, surprising him. I have another gift for you from the big box. The gift was opened to reveal an exquisite leather belt. Lin Ke looked at it with fearful eyes, thinking to himself, Did the four of them discuss this together? Jai King Ren lightly poked his chest with her finger and whispered, Let's go home. Her finger twirled on his shirt. I'll reward you. After leaving the cinema, she asked about his schedule. The new year is coming soon. When are you planning to go back to Yangcheng? Lin Ke walked alongside her and replied, Probably around the 29th. He smiled ahead. After all, it's New Year. I need to prepare a lot of things. I'll go back to help a little. Jai King Ren smiled brightly. Okay, and I'll go with you. They both headed towards the luxury car parked by the road, she added. All right, make sure to give me a big red envelope. The next morning in a luxurious house, Jai King Ren was still sound asleep in bed while Lin Ke had already woken up. He moved quietly so as not to wake her, then stretched and sighed. This Christmas was really tiring. He sat down on a chair by the window and called out to the system. System, are you there? Right after his question, the Lingwai system immediately appeared in front of him, playfully saying, Yes. The Lingwai system appeared, shining brightly in very fashionable attire, resembling a kitten with its mouth open. Lin Ke couldn't help but exclaim excitedly, Oh my, this outfit is stylish. Lin Ke and Ling Wei were currently sitting outside facing each other. He whispered, Since we have some time today, let's talk to each other from the heart. Ling Wei expressed sadness as she revealed her weakness, her index finger moving back and forth. I am an emotionless robot. There is no way I can take out my heart and lungs to talk to my master. Lin Ke was concerned about her pessimism. Don't say that. He pointed his thumb at himself and asked Ling Wei a question that worried him. Let me ask you a few questions. If I were to die, would you also disappear? Ling Wei wanted to prove to him that she existed for him. She quickly replied, Of course, I would self-destruct. Lin Ke suddenly shed tears, brushing them away with his hand, which astonished Ling Wei. Then he spoke emotionally. This is so touching. Could it be that your origins truly cannot be discovered? Is it possible that there are aliens in this world? Ling Wei patiently explained, Do you understand? It's not aliens, but the foundation of human civilization. It's a civilization that humanity has never known. But now, humankind has detected its existence and is exploring it. Lin Ke was very surprised to hear this and couldn't help but exclaim, Oh my, it seems I've stumbled upon some earth-shattering secret. Having achieved his goal, he bid farewell to Ling Wei. I understand now. You can go. The system happily waved at him, emitting a shimmering blue light in the dark. She even mentioned the number 886. Before long, the old year had passed, making way for the new year. The surrounding scenery became much brighter, with colorful balloons tightly tied and soaring high. Lin Ke felt cheerful when he saw his mother and asked, How is you? How are things going with her boyfriend, Mom? His mother smiled gently and said, She called me yesterday saying that things are quite good. I've met that boy once. He has decent character, but he is a bit impulsive, not as mature as you. As soon as she finished speaking, Jai King Ren covered her mouth and laughed. Lin Ke turned to her and asked, What are you laughing at? Is what my mom said not true? Jai King Ren gradually stopped laughing and comforted him with a meaningful remark. Right. Brother Lin is the most mature, not impulsive at all. A moment later, when Lin Ke went outside, his phone in his pocket suddenly rang. He answered, and the voice on the other end said, Boss Lin, this is Wu Zhao Yu. Have you returned to Yang Chang? I have something I want to discuss with you. Lin Ke smiled and replied, I'm back. What's the matter? While he was on the phone, he looked at the children playing in the yard. On the other end, the person said, Isn't your orphanage located in the suburbs? The city is planning to turn that area into a new economic zone. Lin Ke happily answered, That's good news. Just follow the procedures the city has laid out, but you should also give me some time to find a new place. The other person said, This is easy. There's no major issue. The main thing is that the project is quite large and we want to find a reputable construction company. Can Zhao Yang Group take it? He smiled with his eyes squinting. Sure, thank you. We'll talk more about this later. Just after hanging up, his mother beside him asked curiously, Son, is something going on? He smiled to reassure her. Yes, this place is on the outskirts and we will have to relocate sooner or later. Saying that, he turned to Jai King Ren. This project is about to be handed over to Zhao Yang Group. We should spend some time discussing the details. Jai King Ren happily brushed her hair and replied, Okay, I'll go to the company tomorrow to open it and arrange a meeting to deal with this. Lin Ke noticed that his mother still looked uncomfortable with the news, so he reassured her. Relocating is a good thing. Why are you putting on such a pained expression? Didn't anyone inform everyone beforehand? His mother, with a worried expression, said to her son, There have been a few people coming by, but they all seem very aggressive. Nothing like good people. Moreover, you kids have no idea how expensive housing is in the city. If we have to relocate, how will these children cope? Lin Ke immediately stepped forward to pat her back, soothing her troubled mind. You don't need to worry about this. Jai King Ren and I will take care of it. There's no need to worry about money. Besides, moving to the city will give the kids more exposure to the outside world. It will definitely be better than staying here. I'll handle the school contacts. You don't need to worry, Ma. His mother now felt a bit more at ease and entrusted him. I can only rely on you. Lin Ke bent down and placed his hand on his mother's shoulder. You're grown up now, so why are you still crying? Isn't it embarrassing? So just go out and have some fun with the kids tomorrow. We'll handle this. Lin Ke wiped away the earlier somber expression with a smile. All right, let's eat first. The food will get cold. The three of them entered the house, one following the other. Suddenly, Jai King Ren held Lin Ke's sleeve and asked, Do you know why Uncle Zhao didn't pick you up? She expressed her concern, saying, I just heard some kids say that Uncle Zhao had a fight with someone a few days ago. He didn't turn around, just asked again. Who did he fight with? Jai King Ren replied, It seems like it was with the people who came to discuss the relocation. In the end, they couldn't agree on a reasonable price, yet they wanted to fight. There are cameras in the yard. I will check tomorrow to see if we can get any footage. Lin Ke's hand suddenly clenched tightly, his veins almost visible. He furiously furrowed his brow. These people are quite bold. The sky was clear and the shimmering sunlight enveloped the Zhao Yang Group's subsidiary in Yangchang. As Lin Ke and Jai King Ren stepped through the door, a group of people was already waiting for them. They slightly bowed their heads and spoke in unison. Boss Lady G, Boss Lin. At that moment, Boss Liu rushed over calling, Boss Lady G, Boss Lin. Upon seeing him, Jai King Ren immediately asked, Is there any problem with the company at this time? Boss Liu quickly replied, There's no problem at all. This year's profits are quite good. Everything is stable. Jai King Ren slightly frowned and suggested, Let's go to the conference room and discuss. Please bring the financial records from the finance room for me to look at. Hearing that, Boss Liu quickly raised his hand to one side and replied, Yes, Boss Lady J. I will go arrange it now. A while later, for Boss Liu's arrangements, Jai King Ren and Lin Ke sat in the conference room along with many others. Everyone had a set of documents on the table. However, Lin Ke kept his face buried in his phone, seemingly captivated by something. Jai King Ren glanced at Lin Ke, flipped through the documents in his hands, and then began to speak. The main reason we are here today is to discuss something else. The land in Dongtang Hanshui is preparing to establish a new economic zone. Everyone is aware of this, right? Hearing this, Boss Liu looked worried and said, Yes, yes. Then Jai King Ren quickly looked at everyone and started discussing the plan. This project has been assigned to us. The total value is under $20 billion. First, we need to find people. This project can be approved before the new year. Next year, we should be able to start construction. The others still appeared worried after hearing this. Boss Liu spoke on their behalf. Boss Lady G, don't worry. We will definitely handle this project well. Although Lin Ke was still holding his phone, he noticed their unusual expressions and said, "Isn't getting a large project like this a good thing? Why the long faces?" Boss Liu scratched his head, forced a smile, and replied, "Boss Lady G, Boss Lin, this is indeed a good project, but it's also a bit hot to handle. Our Zhao Yang group isn't easy to work with." Lin Ke heard this and immediately put down the phone in his hand, staring at him in confusion. "Why is it hot to the touch?" Boss Liu explained. "This project has caught the attention of the Wu family in Yangchang. If we decide to take it, there will definitely be conflicts between the two sides." Jig King Ren quickly asked, "Who is that? Is he very dangerous?" Boss Liu didn't hesitate to answer, "Quite skilled. If we really take this project, it will be difficult for us to survive in the construction industry, Yangchang, in the future." Jack King Ren anxiously asked Lin Ke, "What do you think about this? Should we talk to Wu Zhao Yu?" Lin Ke, looking indifferent and bored, turned his phone and replied, "Maybe we should just let it go." He became serious and said, "We've already given him a project worth over $2 billion. We can handle this small matter ourselves." Boss Liu cautiously asked him, "Boss Lin, are you sure you want to take on this project?" Lin Ke slammed the phone down on the table and assured, "Of course we have to do it." Hearing his assurance, Boss Liu rubbed his head gloomily and said with a grimace, "Then it won't be easy. He might come looking for me to settle scores tonight." Boss Liu continued with a worried expression, "Tonight is his 60th birthday party, and he has invited many people. I've also been invited. Should I go or not?" Lin Ke confidently said, "Why not go?" He stood up, reassuring his anxious mood. "It's okay. I'll go with you tonight." Jack King Ren also stood up and spoke. "All right, let's stop here for today." She quickly assigned the task, "Boss Liu, please arrange some documents, the current and past projects. Select the projects over $10 billion. We're going to meet Wu Zhao Yu to discuss specifics." Boss Liu immediately stood up and replied, "Understood, Ms. G. I will go right now." Suddenly, Ji King Ren grabbed Lin Ke's hand, speaking in a sweet tone. "How about I go with you too?" Lin Ke immediately replied, "No need, I won't be of any help even if I go." At this moment, only the two of them remained in the meeting room. Lin Ke then asked her, "It's just right for me to go back and check the cameras to see if I can find those troublemakers." Jack King Ren still insisted on asking, "Are you sure you don't need me to go with you?" Lin Ke then whispered in her ear with a somewhat ghastly tone, "I want you even more at night." After hearing this, Jack King Ren pinched his arm and angrily scolded, "Stop joking." After that, Lin Ke opened the door and stepped outside. Boss Liu was standing outside waiting. When he saw Lin Ke, he called out, "Boss Lin." He followed behind him and asked, "Don't you need to prepare anything?" Lin Ke turned back and asked, "What are we preparing for?" Boss Liu was anxious. Today is Mr. Wu's 60th birthday celebration. Everyone attending is dressed very formally. "Isn't your outfit a bit casual?" Lin Ke turned around with a sharp gaze, replied, "If he behaves honestly tonight, I might let him get through this birthday. But if he annoys me..." Lin Ke's expression became serious. "Then I'll make sure he meets the Grim Reaper tonight." Upon hearing this, Boss Liu was terrified and thought, Boss Lin is indeed very extravagant. Jack King Ren was on her way to the orphanage. Wang Ru Ping was picking vegetables, and noticing she was alone, asked, "Daughter-in-law, why are you coming back by yourself? Where is my son?" Jack King Ren happily replied, "He has a social dinner tonight. I can go with him, so please take me home, Mom. I'll help you." After Jack King Ren took out her bag, she immediately started helping her mother. Seeing this, Lin Ke quickly stepped in, waving his hands to stop her. Don't, with these delicate hands of yours, how can I let you do this?" Wang Ru Ping then pointed inside the house and added, "That's right, Yu is here waiting for you inside. Go find her, and when it's time for dinner, she'll call everyone." Jack King Ren responded, "Then I'll go over there." A moment later, she appeared right at the door of Yu's room. Yu was listening to music at that time, and when he saw her step in, he cheerfully said, "Sister-in-law, you're back. Where are the brothers?" Jack King Ren walked in, placed her handbag on the table, then replied, "The brothers have a social event tonight, so they won't be coming back with you." Then she added, "By the way, I have a little question to ask you. Do you know where the camera in the orphanage is placed?" Yu immediately replied, "I do. It's in my mother's room." Yu, looking a bit embarrassed, said, "But the orphanage usually doesn't have any events, and my mom doesn't even turn on the computer, so I'm not sure if the camera is being used." After that conversation, a room was unexpectedly opened. Jack King Ren and Yu hurriedly walked in. As soon as Yu entered, she went straight to the computer placed on the table, sat down, and turned it on to check. Jack King Ren also came over to look at the computer. After some searching, Yu said, "Today is indeed strange. My mom turned on this camera. I remember some of them were broken, but why are they all working now? Jai King Ren smiled and said, they must have been replaced. Yu Yu agreed. Maybe so. The brothers give the orphanage so much money. My mom probably replaced them too. Moreover, it's quite obvious. Not bad. At that moment, they were on the 3rd floor of the orphanage. Jai King Ren then asked her, please help me find the segment from Saturday. Yu Yu replied, yes. She quickly searched on the computer. Suddenly, Yu discovered, why can we only check from Sunday onwards? Jai King Ren made her own guess. Is it because the memory is insufficient, so it didn't save? Yu Yu quickly stood up. There might be another USB. I'll look for it. She searched throughout the room, approaching a drawer. While searching, her attention inadvertently caught sight of a glass cabinet. Yu Yu suddenly discovered something, her eyes brightening. She immediately opened the door and quickly called Jai King Ren over. Sister-in-law, look at this. I want to show you something. King Ren asked curiously, what is it? Yu Yu pointed towards the inside of the cabinet and said, look down here. King Ren followed Yu Yu's gesture and looked inside. She saw a vivid red object. Her eyes widened in amazement. This is Suzhou silk. Upon hearing this, Yu Yu hesitated and said, Suzhou silk. I think I've heard of this before. King Ren happily took the Suzhou silk. Suzhou silk is so expensive. If this blanket were sold, it would probably fetch over $100,000. Yu Yu was surprised to hear this. No way is it really worth that much. King Ren continued, our mother is from Wujiang. She knows about Suzhou silk. If you say 1 million, that's a loss, and if lucky, it could even sell for $150,000. Yu Yu looked at the blanket in surprise. Oh my, I'm glad you showed me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known there were such valuable things in the house. King Ren then asked, weren't you supposed to show me something? Is it that? Yu Yu pondered. I really don't know. I said it's something good because. She continued, many years ago, my brother was wrapped in this and then taken to the orphanage. Hearing that, King Ren was shocked. Really? Yu Yu took the fabric and assured her. Really, my mother told me. Then, as she carried it, she said, sister-in-law, if you want to see, it's no trouble for me to show it to you. King Ren reminded her, be careful. She hurried over and added, this is the only item belonging to my brother. Yu Yu calmly replied, it's fine, it won't break. And she gently placed the precious Suzhou fabric on the table. Immediately after, she hurriedly opened the Suzhou fabric to take a look. As soon as the fabric was opened, both of them widened their eyes in amazement. Inside, there was an old, worn letter, sealed with a gold button. Yu Yu opened the red cloth and saw a letter inside. She told King Ren, sister-in-law, this letter is so strange, it even has glue on it. King Ren suddenly noticed the characters inscribed on the wax seal. She picked up the letter and examined it closely before saying, this belongs to the upper class, something that ancient people often used. Yu Yu curiously asked, sister-in-law, do you think this letter might contain the history of our brothers? Let's open it and take a look. King Ren immediately shook her head in refusal. I can't do that. I'm afraid it might upset Mother Wang. Seeing this, Yu Yu laughed and said, at most, she'll just scold me. I'll bear the blame for you, King Ren. Suddenly, Wang Ruping came out from the kitchen, calling the two of them to come eat, which startled them. Noticing their strange behavior, she asked, what are you two doing? Yu Yu, unable to hide it, held up the letter and said, we wanted to look at the red quilt, and when we took it out, we found this letter. Wang Ruping took the letter back and said helplessly, every one of you is so clever, you even found this. Yu Yu immediately asked, this letter has been hidden for 20 years and has never been opened. Wang Ruping sighed and replied, this letter was written for your brother, and I didn't feel it was appropriate to read it, so I didn't dare to touch it. I originally planned to wait for your brother to open it, but I didn't expect you two to find it. Yu Yu suddenly had an idea and told Wang Ruping, Lin Ke and King Ren are already set to be together. Sooner or later, they'll be one family. Why don't we open it and take a look first? She immediately refused. Seeing this, Yu Yu went up to her and said in a pouty tone, let's take a look first. If there's nothing in it, you can give it to him to avoid making him agitated. Wang Ruping thought for a moment and then agreed, saying, there won't be a next time. Yu Yu was very happy when she saw that the woman agreed. King Ren took the letter and asked Wang Ruping, do we have scissors? I want to keep the seal on the envelope. Yu Yu said they did and ran to get the scissors. She carefully handed the scissors to King Ren, who slowly cut open the envelope. They began to read the contents of the letter. Dear Ms. Wang, hello, I am a mother who cannot fulfill her responsibilities, unable to give my son the complete love of a mother. My negligence this time is a lifelong debt to the child. Hearing about the situation at your orphanage, I have decided to send my son here for upbringing. Here I plead with you to raise the child to become a person. It doesn't need to be rich and opulent, just that the child can be a normal person, living happily, marrying, and having children. The baby is a descendant of a powerful and noble family. I believe the child's nature is not bad, so he will repay his adoptive parents throughout his life. If one day the child inquires about me, please tell him that I met with an unforeseen accident and have passed away. The letter was signed, Kin. King Ren and Yu Yu both looked at the letter with confusion. Then Yu Yu said to Wang Ru Ping, "This letter is addressed to my mother and has nothing to do with Lin Ke at all. I thought there was some terrible secret in it." She read the letter and regretted not having read it earlier. Then she began to pay attention to the strange details in the letter. In the signature section, Lin Ke's biological mother only left her surname without mentioning her first name. King Ren felt a bit sad beside her. If it weren't for something, she wouldn't have chosen to give up Lin Ke. Moreover, she didn't dare to even leave her first name, only leaving her surname to prove her existence. Suddenly, Wang Ru Ping broke the silence. "All right, let's stop talking. The rice is cooked, just waiting for you two." Yu Yu pushed her outside. She said, "I will talk a little more with Sister King Ren." Then she tucked the letter back into the cloth and went to look for the CD. After searching for a while, she finally found it. Then the two of them put the CD into the computer. Everyone looked tense. King Ren turned on the CD. A video extracted from the camera appeared. In the video, three men were talking to each other. Suddenly, it erupted into conflict, and two of the men lunged at the other man. At the Lin Hotel, Lin Ke was in the parking lot. He looked around, seeing nothing but expensive cars, and said to his secretary, "This place is not bad. There are quite a few wealthy people here." Suddenly, Lin Ke received a message. He opened his phone to check, and it was a video sent by King Ren. His expression changed instantly. "Let's go inside and take a look." Then the two of them headed towards the hotel. A staff member requested the two to present their invitation cards. Lin Ke's secretary immediately took out the invitation card. "Here is the invitation." When the staff member saw Lin Ke, she stopped him and said, "You can enter, but this person cannot. He is not wearing the appropriate attire, so he cannot enter." Seeing this, Lin Ke's secretary suggested taking him to a newly opened shopping mall to change clothes. If not, he wouldn't be able to get in later tonight. Lin Ke was annoyed. He turned and walked away. "No need, I'm not going in anymore. If anything comes up in the future, just call me." Seeing him sulking, the secretary was flustered. He called him back in tears. "Boss Lin, please don't. If you leave now, what will I do in the future?" Just as Lin Ke was about to head back, a man suddenly appeared. "Is this Boss Lin?" It turned out the man was Wu Jin Song. He greeted him enthusiastically. "What a coincidence, we meet again here." Lin Ke turned to ask the secretary, "Who is this?" The secretary replied softly, "This is Mr. Wu's son, Wu Jin Song." Then Lin Ke's secretary stepped forward to greet. "Hello, Mr. Wu Jin Song. Long time no see. Our boss Lin has also returned to Yang Cheng. I came with him to attend the banquet, but we were stopped outside for not wearing formal attire." Jin Song saw this and said to the staff member, "Let them in. They are the main guests tonight. If they are kept outside, the party will not be interesting." The staff member immediately took action. Lin Ke's secretary awkwardly said, "You're joking. We are insignificant characters. We can't accept the main roles." Jin Song didn't care and turned to Lin Ke. "Hey bro, you are in charge of the Zhao Yang group, so the new economic zone is what you stole, right?" Lin Ke looked at him with some displeasure. Then Jin Song raised his finger in appreciation towards him. "A young person with great ambition, daring to come to our place to proclaim king and lord, is indeed very arrogant." As soon as Jin Song finished speaking, Lin Ke shoved his hand away, telling him not to block the way. "I'm still waiting to go in for the banquet." Jin Song, feeling disrespected by Lin Ke, was furious. When the elevator doors closed, Lin Ke's secretary anxiously wiped the sweat off his brow. Seeing him like that, Jin Song asked, "We're taking the elevator, not the outdoor cable car. Why are you so tense?" His secretary was sweating profusely, stammering, "Boss Lin, we're done for. Mr. Wu knows we've taken the project for the new economic zone." Lin Ke looked at him and replied with a smile, "At least it saves us from having to beat around the bush. We came here today to handle this matter." Lin Ke stepped out of the elevator and explained to his secretary, "You can avoid it for a while, but can you avoid it for a lifetime? Even if we hadn't come to find him, he would have come to find us." After that, the two entered the banquet hall, and everyone looked at them. Lin Ke's secretary noticed this and panicked, turning to Lin Ke to say, "It seems they already know something." Lin Ke poured wine into a glass and calmly replied, "So, what if they know?" Suddenly, a girl appeared and called out to him. It was Bing Bing, a beautiful and gentle girl. As soon as she called him, she raised her hand to greet him. Bing Bing approached Lin Ke and said, "Your sister is my boyfriend's girlfriend. What a coincidence that we meet here today. I brought my best friend along to broaden my horizons. While they were chatting bye-bye, Bing Bing's best friend suddenly ran over and asked, "What are you doing here?" Then she grabbed Bing Bing's hand and pulled her away. "Let's get out of here. Otherwise, you'll bring trouble on yourself later." Bing Bing was confused about what was happening. Lin Ke was surprised to hear bye-bye say that. Bing Bing asked bye-bye, "What are you doing?" "This is my friend. What's wrong with chatting for a bit?" She had a serious expression and whispered to Bing Bing, "They're competing for business with Mr. Wu. Do you think this is serious?" Bing Bing glanced at Lin Ke and said with concern, "My younger brother and Lin Ke's younger sister are in love with each other, and they might get married in another 6 months. If someone leaves in the middle of a conversation, it would be very rude." Upon hearing those words, Lin Ke acknowledged her. He also felt that if Yu married into her family, she probably wouldn't be at a disadvantage. After a while, the brother of Mr. Wu announced, "Mr. Wu has arrived." Shortly after, Wu Tianfu and his son stepped out with great dignity. Lin Ke's secretary said to him, "That person is Wu Tianfu. Behind him is Wu Jinsong and his adopted son Zhao Guanglai, who has taken over his business and is also quite influential." Lin Ke looked at them and felt annoyed. They are just a bunch of trash, yet they know how to show off. Tianfu clasped his hands together. "Thank you all for coming to my birthday celebration despite your busy schedules. I have prepared fine wine, and I hope everyone enjoys it." Suddenly, a guest said, "I suggest we raise our glasses to Mr. Wu, wishing him blessed like the East Sea, living long like the mountains, and may every year be as today." Lin Ke immediately recognized him as a flatterer. He couldn't help but laugh, spitting out some water. Tianfu laughed heartily, replying to the previous guest's toast. "Thank you for everyone's blessings. Let's drink." Suddenly, the door swung open and a loud voice echoed throughout the room. "Hey, hey, hey. Make way. Make way." A group of people carried the golden statue of Buddha inside. Guanglai walked over to Tianfu, saying that this was a gift he had prepared for him. Tianfu was very happy to hear this, smiling broadly like a child. Then Guanglai wished him, "Mighty Yang Cheng, mighty all over the world." Suddenly, Lin Ke noticed the group of people carrying the statue. He recognized a few familiar faces and pulled out his phone to check the photo that King Ren had sent him. Lin Ke immediately recognized them. He suddenly smiled and said, "I was worried about not being able to find you all, and here you come right to my door." Zhao Guanglai declared loudly, "Today, on the birthday of my adoptive father, I want to tell everyone here, there are people who do not know the height of the sky and the depth of the earth, messing up my adoptive father's good manners." His expression suddenly changed, becoming somewhat dangerous as he spoke. "Don't blame Zhao Guanglai for being impolite." Suddenly, Lin Ke appeared, surprising many people. Boss Liu behind him seemed a bit flustered. Lin Ke slowly walked over. Wu Tianfu stepped forward and said, "Boss Liu, do you have a moment? I want to discuss something private with you." Boss Liu appeared fearful and cautiously said, "Mr. Wu, please go ahead." Wu Tianfu looked displeased. "I remember mentioning the new economic zone project before, yet you all went ahead and got involved, taking those projects. This really surprised me." Wu Jinsong added, "He is just a manager of a subsidiary. He doesn't have much authority anymore." Another person in charge came over. "Why not talk to the person in charge directly?" Wu Tianfu, hearing this, was a bit confused and asked, "The person in charge?" Lin Ke adjusted his collar confidently. At this moment, Wu Tianfu looked at Lin Ke and asked again, "Young man, are you the person in charge of this project? Is there something you want to say to me?" Lin Ke coldly replied, "What is there to say to you? On the contrary, I am very interested in talking to the two people behind you." These words seemed to infuriate Wu Tianfu. He frowned and turned to the back, saying, "Who?" Lin Ke pointed at the two people behind Wu Tianfu, surprising them as well. He added, "Those two." This time, Wu Tianfu was so angry that his face turned purple. He said, "Both of you come here." Hearing the order from their boss, the two immediately approached, respectfully saying, "Yes." After calling the two over, he asked, "Young man, what do you want to say to them?" At this moment, Lin Ke's face showed some discomfort as he said, "A few days ago, they went to the Lin Tian orphanage and beat my father. Am I wrong?" Zhao Guanglai, like his adopted father, turned purple with rage. He couldn't hold back any longer and pointed at Lin Ke, shouting, "They beat him, so what more do you want? You better bring out Mr. Wu's project, or else." Before he could finish speaking, Lin Ke struck Zhao Guanglai's hand hard with his own. Zhao Guanglai's hand was knocked down by Lin Ke, curling up like a shrimp in pain, his face turning purple. When confronting the male lead of the story, there is only one outcome. Just a moment ago, you were so cocky, and now Zhao Guanglai is kneeling at Lin Ke's feet. Indeed, the aura of the male lead was remarkable. Seeing his son humiliated in front of the crowd, Wu Tianfu could no longer bear it. He said, "Today is my 60th longevity celebration and you want to disrupt it." Lin Ke remained unfazed, calmly replying, "In a business where harmony creates talent, but it seems you have no sincerity at all. Let me tell you, if I'm happy, you might still get through today's longevity celebration. If I'm not happy." Suddenly, he became menacing, continuing with the frightening words he was about to say, "Today will be your day of death." Then Lin Ke approached Wu Tianfu and placed his hand on his shoulder, saying, "Old man, times have changed." The two words Lin Ke uttered left Tianfu speechless, and those words were "go die." Seeing his father being disrespected like that, Zhao Guanglai became furious and intended to solve it with his fists. He shouted brusquely, "What kind of talk is that?" Everyone thought the one who would be hit would be Lin Ke. But suddenly, Guanglai received a slap straight to the face. Lin Ke had gently caressed his cheek, making him feel as if he were flying high with joy. Meanwhile, Wu Tianfu stood frozen in shock beside them. This time, he truly could not bear it any longer. Zhao Guanglai really couldn't take it anymore. He shouted, "What are we pretending to be big shots for, coming from Zhonghai to Yangcheng? Do you think Zhao Guanglai is a soft persimmon?" Then he drew his weapon. Seeing this, Bing Bing quickly yelled, "Mr. Lin, be careful." Guanglai then advanced to attack Lin Ke. The two sides struggled dramatically, but of course the victory leaned toward one side. Perhaps everyone could guess. Lin Ke quickly snatched the weapon from Zhao Guanglai's hand. After that, he forced him to slam his face into the ground. It was uncertain whether he had undergone any cosmetic procedures, but if he had, it would surely cost a considerable amount for the surgery. Then Lin Ke aimed the weapon at Wu Tianfu's neck, causing him to freeze in fear. He threatened while saying, "Do you still want this project?" Wu Tianfu was very angry, but seeing the weapon pointed so closely to his neck, he didn't dare to fight back. He could only say, "Fine. Today I admit defeat and I won't need the new economic zone project." Lin Ke played with a knife in his hand, mourning, "You'd better be honest. Don't think about playing tricks behind my back. Even though I'm in Zhonghai, dealing with people like you only takes a phone call, so don't have any improper thoughts." Wu Tianfu was very angry, but knowing there was nothing he could do, he could only say, "I understand." After Lin Ke finished dealing with everything, he casually put his hands in his pockets, looked at Boss Liu, and said, "Let's go. What are you standing there for?" Boss Liu was still stunned by the events that had just unfolded. Wu Tianfu gritted his teeth in frustration, thinking to himself, "Who on earth is this person from Zhonghai to be so arrogant here?" Cut to another place. Boss Liu asked Lin Ke, "Mr. Lin, has this issue been resolved? Wu Tianfu surely won't dare to trouble us anymore, right?" Lin Ke replied, "They are all just frogs at the bottom of the well. Let it be." Hearing Lin Ke's words, Boss Liu felt like he had struck gold. "Your words make me feel much more at ease." As Lin Ke and Boss Liu were on their way, suddenly a pair of fair legs wearing red high heels approached and said, "Mr. Lin." It turned out to be Bing Bing. She came to greet Mr. Lin. She friendly waved her hand and said, "How about I walk you back? It's on the way." To be honest, I found her figure very attractive, but Lin Ke remained silent and said nothing. Only now did he react and respond, "Let's go." Meanwhile, Boss Liu behind him was puzzled, not understanding what was happening. In the evening, the streetlights began to turn on and the car started moving forward. Inside the car, Bing Bing was driving while joking and laughing with Lin Ke. "Mr. Lin, if your sister and my brother have no issues, then maybe next year they will be preparing to get married. As for the dowry, do you have any requests?" Lin Ke replied, "There are no requests on this matter. Both sides are quite well off. If they get married, I don't think there will be any headaches regarding money. As for the dowry, it's fine to skip it." Bing Bing responded, "If it should exist, it still needs to exist. We will provide $100,000. If Mr. Lin has no objections, then let's settle on this figure." Lin Ke glanced at Bing Bing and agreed, "All right, it's a small matter. If your company needs any help, just call Tai Qianzao at my company. Just mention my name." Hearing this, Bing Bing was very pleased. After a long drive, they finally arrived at Lin Ke's home. He got out of the car and turned back to wave. "Goodbye, Bing Bing. Thank you." Bing Bing, sitting in the car, waved back at Lin Ke. She was truly a beauty who was crazy about men, and she thought to herself, "How can there be such a handsome man?" Lin Ke returned home and heard a voice asking, "You're back?" It turned out to be the voice of Jai King Ren. She asked Lin Ke how things at the company had been resolved and if there were any issues. While speaking, she helped him take off his suit jacket. Jai King Ren's hands were very fair. Lin Ke smiled while looking at Jai King Ren and said, "Everything is done. From now on, focus all the operations on Yangcheng. Relying solely on real estate in Shanghai, the development speed will be slow. King Ren gently smiled with squinted eyes and said, "You shouldn't view the traditional industry through the lens of the IT industry. The traditional industry will obviously develop slower." Suddenly, a phone call came in for Lin Ke. He answered, "I'm out in Shanghai. Isn't that game show supposed to start filming in 2 days? Why are you calling me today?" Meanwhile, King Ren was helping him hang up his jacket. A beautiful woman's voice on the phone sounded very gentle while speaking to Lin Ke. "I'm not calling you back. I just have something to discuss. The leader of the production team wants to negotiate a bit regarding using your Wangjiang dock for fee matters. We can only offer a tentative price of $300,000. Hearing this, Lin Ke thought for a moment. He gently rubbed his temple with his finger. "This amount seems a bit low for me. Why don't you keep it for gas money?" The beautiful woman continued, "Yes, thank you, boss Lin. I will find an opportunity to repay this kindness of yours." 2 days later, at Wangjiang Wharf, the scene was truly magnificent. This place was bustling with people. Lin Ke stood lost in thought. There are quite a few people. Suddenly a voice exclaimed, "Hey, handsome." Lin Ke turned to find 2 beautiful women with pink hair and Guy standing behind them. The girl with the pink ponytail cheerfully greeted Lin Ke and asked, "Do you remember me?" She happily said, "We met on TV before. I even wanted to invite you to join my team." Lin Ke remained indifferent and replied, "No, you're too small." Hearing this, the ponytailed beauty immediately retorted, "I'm not small. I'm already 23. However, Lin Ke didn't actually mention age. He said, "What I meant is, small measurements are not age." "Oh my God, how can you say that to a beautiful woman?" She replied irritably. "If it weren't for your good looks, I would have hit you. It's true that handsome guys can say anything without getting hit." Then she introduced the 2 people beside her. One is the girl with pink hair who's wearing her hair down, and the person next to her is a guy with purple hair. She said, "Handsome, you misunderstood. Actually, the person on your team is not me, but my sister. This is my sister Lai Jianni, and that is my brother Huang Wenning. This time they are participating in the event. I'm just here to see them off, coincidentally coming to Shanghai for a stroll." Li Jianni started a friendly conversation with Lin Ke. They are both quite good, but their wilderness survival knowledge is still lacking. "If the 3 of us form a team, we could achieve great results." Lin Ke touched his neck and said, "All right then, what you guys said is just right. It wouldn't be interesting for me to go alone." Li Jianni said to her sister, "The time is almost up. We should head to the boat first. You look for a hotel and wait for us to come back. Don't run around." Her sister put her hands on her hips and casually replied, "I know." With such an enthusiastic younger sister, she cheered for her older sister. "Go for it, Sice." Suddenly, a group of people arrived and shouted, "Get out of the way." A super cool guy with brown hair and black glasses, exuding a very cold demeanor, walked over. Her sister was so mesmerized by his looks that she tugged at her sister's hair. "Wow, it's Lai Shengxing." Li Jianni asked again, "You didn't know them?" Lai Shengxing took off his glasses and winked to showcase his world-class handsomeness. "Of course I know. He is the #1 celebrity in the country, Lai Shengxing. His fame in the entertainment industry is huge. If you came here and didn't know him, that would be pretty bad." Li Jianni fell silent, not knowing what to say in front of her younger sister's unconditional admiration. Lai Jianni wondered, how did a game show manage to invite such a famous person? Her sister was still in awe of Lai Shengxing's good looks. "Whoa, everyone, don't say that. After filming, you might help me get my crush's autograph." Li Jianni only responded to her brother's words. "Someone like him is just a burden, useless to carry along. Don't dream anymore, go back quickly." After saying this, Li Jianni, Huang Wenning, and Lin Ke turned their backs and walked forward. Lin Ke was silent, thinking about something. The celebrity who didn't cooperate earlier seemed to be him. Indeed, the world is round. A gloomy atmosphere enveloped them. Wenning unexpectedly spoke up. "I didn't expect there to be so many celebrities. That's impressive." Li Jianni also chimed in. "We don't need to pay too much attention to them. Just focus on doing our own thing." The MC suddenly announced to everyone present, "All participants, please pay attention. In 10 minutes, the boat will begin to move. Everyone, please gather quickly." He continued, "This wild survival game show will have a flexible filming schedule. The island we are heading to is called Juzhou Island. We will stop 1 nautical mile off the coast. The person who successfully reaches the top will be the champion. Good luck, everyone." Lin Ke walked away quietly, showing no interest. Seeing this, the MC was at a loss for words. A moment later, the 3 of them were walking together in a hallway. Li Jianni reminded Mr. Lin, "According to the program's regulations, we can go to the island at any time, so we should prepare in advance." Lin Ke calmly replied, Just a few trivial matters. Let's have dinner first and talk. Wenheng's expression suddenly turned serious as he said, the director has already mentioned that the game can start at any time. If it starts while we're having a meal, won't we miss out on a good opportunity? Lin Ke, feeling annoyed, turned back to explain to him, we just clarified earlier, it's 1 nautical mile. From Zhonghai to Juzhou Island is 900 nautical miles. At the current speed of at least 50 kilometers/a, we'll need at least 36 hours. Why are you all in such a hurry? Are we really going to be left stranded in the Pacific Ocean? Hearing this, their expressions changed to one of shock, with wide eyes and open mouths. Lei Jiatni voiced her doubts. But we haven't even crossed 1 nautical mile. Lin Ke waved his hand and replied, we need to find a lifeboat. As Wenheng watched Lin Ke's departing figure, he said to Jianai, don't listen to him rambling. He frowned and continued, right now, everyone is hoping that competition between the main ship will be a process of negotiation. Who can be certain they will get the ship? Jianai, I think it was a mistake for us to team up with him. After a moment of reflection, Jianai seriously expressed her thoughts. I think this guy isn't bad. At least he won't hold us back. Let's go eat first. In the dining room of the yacht, someone asked Lin Ke, hey bro, we have some space at our table. Do you want to join us? Lin Ke frowned and asked him back, is it because I punched your guy last time that you're not convinced? Jin Song smiled and replied, I'm telling you, don't think you can defeat me. Do you think you're really that skilled? There are many Gao show here. Suddenly, someone reached out and took Lin Ke's hand. It was Feng Xin. She smiled and suggested, I hope to have a meal with you. She gently asked, is that all right? The two of them sat down at the same table. Lin Ke asked in confusion, why did you pull me over here? Are you afraid I'll fight with them? Feng Xin replied with a slight smile, because those two are representatives from America and they're very skilled. But don't worry, I will protect you. The two dark-skinned men from earlier were Fu Lang and Ma Ding, the team leader and expert in wilderness survival. Ma Ding glanced over and asked, is that Huaxia guy really that formidable? Jin Song replied, that's right, my disciple was once kicked away by him. Ma Ding's expression suddenly turned strange. It's a pity that according to the rules, we can act here. Otherwise, I would have wanted to spar with him a few moves. He smiled and planned, wait until tonight, we'll disguise ourselves, sneak into his room, and then enlighten him with a lesson. They all wore wicked smiles upon hearing this. Observing the situation, Wenheng turned to Jianni and said, see, I told you, a person with his personality will definitely attract more enemies. Jianni quickly responded, after all, he's the one who received the invitation. Rather than being personally invited by the director, his level is definitely different from ordinary people. If not, he wouldn't have analyzed everything for us just now. Wenheng gritted his teeth and refused to accept it, saying, anyway, when he was being beaten, you wouldn't help. You don't have time for this. After a moment, Feng Xin spoke up and asked, Mr. Lin, have you eaten? Her face turned red. I think we should move to another place to talk. Lin Ke received a message on his phone, so he picked it up to check. It was a message from Xiao Yan. She asked him, do you have time? Come to my office. I'm in 7003. He quickly replied, okay, I'll come over now. Lin Ke stood up and said to Feng Xin, I have an appointment. Sorry. Not long after, he arrived at the meeting place. Inside were Xiao Yan and several others. As soon as she saw Lin Ke, she jumped up. You've come. She introduced the people inside to him. Sitting on either side were the program's deputy directors named Zhu Ru and Sun Liang. The person sitting in the middle was Wu Wenshu. Seeing Lin Ke, he asked in doubt, Xiao Yan, is this the person you've brought? With his build, are you sure about this? Xiao Yan seriously replied, player Lin Ke is first class in both strength and skill among other players, and he is recognized as excellent. Hearing this, Wenshu said nothing more but gestured to the side and introduced. All right, have a seat. This is Chen Liandong, an outdoor specialist. The others will arrive soon, so let's get down to business. The door gradually opened, and shortly after, a group of people, led by Lai Shengxing, entered. He began to introduce himself. Now that everyone is here, I am Lai Shengxing. In terms of professionalism, there is a bit of a gap between you and him. I want everyone to form a team to compete for the glorious position. Hearing this, Wenshu turned to ask the others, what do you two think? Zhu Ru, feeling uncomfortable, replied, sorry, even though you are the leader of this game show, I cannot accept such conditions. Hearing this, Wenshu smiled and said, I know that you all are people with Puang Quang's blood energy, who value the final results highly. Therefore, I cannot let everyone help without succeeding. Tony confidently said, everyone throw out a number, any amount is fine. Liandong frowned and responded, $60,000 per person. We'd only protect him for 1 week. We can't guarantee protection for the entire process. Suddenly, a hand slammed down on the table, startling everyone present and redirecting their attention. The person was Lin Ke. His face turned pale with suppressed anger. What do they mean? Don't they ask for my opinion? Am I just invisible? With that thought, Lin Ke turned to leave. Seeing this, Xiao Yan hurriedly ran over to ask, "Where are you going?" He coldly replied, "Next time, clarify everything before calling me. Don't waste my time." Seeing that he looked somewhat familiar, Xiao Yan wondered if he was the streamer from the app Handsome Mask. Lai Shengsing hurriedly called out to Lin Ke, "Wait a minute." Tony was a bit surprised and exclaimed, "You are quite something. I had to clarify things with you from last time, and yet you dare to come here." Lin Ke sneered and asked, "Someone like you thinks you can find me to fight?" He became angry when he heard Lin Ke say that. "If I don't beat you up, you will remember, huh?" Seeing the situation getting awkward, Wen Shu spoke up to advise, "Tony, he's Xiao Yan's friend. Let's give him some face. How about we just let this go?" Hearing that, Tony glanced over at Xiao Yan and said, "Director Yan, I hope you can manage your friend well. If there's a next time, I'll deal with it once and for all." Lin Ke became uncomfortable hearing that. He raised his hand and said, "How about this? You don't need to save face for her if there's an issue." Lin Ke delivered a resounding slap to his face. "Let's settle this now." Tony was taken aback and covered his face. You dare to hit me." He turned to shout at the onlookers. "What are you standing there for? Hurry up and beat him." Lin Ke lightly cracked his knuckles to warm up before the crowd charged at him. He easily sidestepped to one side and simultaneously raised his hand, directly slapping one of the approaching individuals in the face. Lin Ke skillfully pushed the person's head down onto the table. Another person suddenly rushed in to attack, but Lin Ke reacted quickly, kicking him squarely in the head. Lin Ke gently withdrew his leg once the man lay unconscious on the ground. Witnessing this scene made Wen Shu furious, and he shouted loudly, "Lin Ke, you've gone too far. Do you even know what you're doing? You dare to hit people here? I will revoke your participation immediately." Xiao Yan felt helpless and frustrated in this awkward situation. Lin Ke, somewhat confused, asked him, "Are you really not going to let me participate in the filming?" Not wanting to waste any more time here, he decided to leave. Seeing this, Wen Shu grew even angrier and threatened. "I will definitely use my position in the executive board to revoke your qualifications." He calmly replied, "Fine." Lin Ke smiled confidently. "When that time comes, don't come begging me. Let's just wait and see." Wen Shu turned to help Tony up and hurriedly apologized to him. "Tony, I'm really sorry. I didn't expect this to happen." Tony, furious, pointed his finger. "I hope Director Wu can immediately kick this guy off the boat. I don't want to see him for another second." Wu Wen Shu quickly responded, "This is a bit difficult since we're at sea, but I have revoked his qualification." He turned to Xiao Yan. Director Yan makes some arrangements to limit his activities and ensure he doesn't appear in public places. She reluctantly replied, "Then we'll follow Director Wu's orders."